Hi, welcome to my podcast. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get started. Today, I will be talking about a really important issue that does not get talked about enough, and that is how school shootings are a big problem here in the United States, and how it is affecting schools and students. Disclaimer, this is a sensitive topic. This is just my personal opinion based on what I think, the work and research that I have done these past couple weeks. Today, I will be discussing how effective have legislative measures and school security policies have been in mitigating the risk and impact of school shootings in the U.S. I will also discuss the role that firearm accessibility and gun control plays in the frequency and severity of school shooting. Our main question was the perception of safety at school. 30% of respondents feel safe at school, always, and another 50% feel safe most of the time. However, 15% only feel safe sometimes, and 5% never feel safe. There is still a significant portion who have safety concerns, while most students feel relatively safe. School shootings have become one of the most heartbreaking and devastating tragedies in the United States during the last couple years. Each incident leaves behind shattered families, traumatized communities, and most importantly, the loss of innocent lives in what should be one of the safest spaces for children. The United States has witnessed a troubling increase in school shootings, reaching unusual levels. A study conducted by JAMA Psychiatry stated that the 2021 and 2022 academic year alone itself experienced a record high of 328 incidents. A clear example, the Uvalde, Texas school shooting in May of 2022 ended the lives of 19 innocent children, 2 teachers, and left behind 19 injured people, all in the hands of an 18-year-old who owned an AR-15. This was yet another reminder of the crisis that we are facing in the country, marking it as the 27th school shooting of that year alone. It is also important to highlight the significant factors contributing to the prevalence of school shootings. One of them is the common access to firearms. Many perpetrators acquire weapons from their own homes or those of relatives, often finding them unsecure. Not only that, but the process itself of acquiring a firearm is often more simpler than it seems. In many states, individuals can purchase a gun with minimal to no background checks, and sometimes not even an official state ID. Allowing weapons to fall into the hands of people who should not have access to them, especially minors. A study conducted by several psychiatry reports from the Department of Education have shown a direct correlation between gun availability and gun violence. In states with stricter gun control laws, fewer mass shootings occur compared to those with little to less stricter laws. We also asked them how satisfied they felt with their school safety measures. 35% of respondents are satisfied with their school safety measures, while 10% are somewhat dissatisfied. However, 45% are dissatisfied with their school safety measures, and 10% are somewhat dissatisfied. This suggests that while some students are content with current safety measures, nearly half feel they are inadequate for their school. Enhancing physical security measures within schools is also another vital component of a comprehensive prevention strategy. While it is essential to maintain a welcoming educational environment for students, certain security enhancements can deter potential attackers. A study conducted by the Annals of Internal Medicine indicated that schools with control access points, metal detectors, and emergency response drills had lower rates of violent incidents compared to those schools who had no strategies or a plan at all. Also conducted a survey where I asked high school students, college students, and high school teachers how they felt about their overall safety at school. According to the results, 80.1% of respondents reported that their school had a security office or resource officer on campus, while 14.3% said no, and 4.7% were unsure. This suggested that most schools have some form of security presence during school hours, which could contribute to a sense of safety not only for students but also for staff.
Martinez?
Officer Martinez? Okay, so I don't know if you want to hold it. So the first question is, how do you think schools can improve safety measures while maintaining a supportive learning environment, and what safety measurements can still be implemented?
I would say it's mostly being observant of others, students. I would say before taking any measures in trying to prevent any weapons or entering the school, it's mainly observing their behaviors of other students and ensuring that their mental health is okay. Before it becoming a forced mandate to either have backpack checks or even checks before entering the school. I'd say the main thing is just focusing that every student feels safe enough to be there.
Okay, and what kind of physical, mental training do police officers have to go through to be prepared for a situation like this? Is there a system or plan already set, or do you guys just plan it once it happens, or how does it work in general?
We do have trainings that involve mental health. We have experts that come speak to us and try to assist us with how to de-escalate situations. But however, there is also officers who are more specialized in mental health, which is our CIT. They handle calls that primarily involve mental health. And when we need assistance, we usually call upon them because they have extra training on top to be able to help people more.
So when a school threat happens or there's a situation at a school, are they the first ones to respond?
No. When it becomes, if it's a scenario like that, it's an active school shooting, any officer is going to be the first one to go. I would say at that time, the priority is safety of others. So I think the mental health might take a step back until everyone is safe and secure. Then maybe CIT will take over and try to speak with whoever they need to speak to, calm down, or try to resolve the situation.
Okay. What can parents do or know about the situation? What do you want to tell them? Should they be more aware, or?
I would say be more aware of their children. I would say constantly ask them if they're okay, how are they feeling, and ensuring that if they have any weapons in the home, that they are secured and that they know where they are, basically. I know at times we might not use them often, but it's good to constantly keep checking, ensuring that they're still there, they're still locked, and that no kids have access to it. I know some kids, they're smart. They might figure out the password. They might see it on their mom's phone. They might see it on somewhere where it was written down. So it's good to keep either changing the password or changing where the key is, just so that it's harder for them, or if, God forbid it were to happen, that it's not easily accessible.
Okay. And how often do you think about the possibility of a school shooting happening here in El Paso? And do you think it's important to highlight the fact that we haven't had one yet?
I would say it's in everyone's mind that it might happen. We do train for active shootings. So it's always in the back of our mind. We constantly have trainings. We talk about it. So the idea that it might happen is always there. But we are grateful that it hasn't happened, that we haven't needed to implement those trainings.
And do you think that's more on the school system itself or the police training that you guys have?
Can you repeat that? What are you trying to say?
Do you think the fact that we haven't had one, it's more on the school itself, their system that they have, or is it more on the police itself and all the rules that they're implementing?
I would say it would be everything. I would say it's the parents. Unfortunately, it may have been an incident that occurred in other places. I would say that it's a totality of the circumstances. Parents, school, the officer presence at schools, they might have deterred that from happening here. So I would hope that with all those steps, it prevents it from ever happening here.
And what can we do better as a community to protect students, to protect schools? Or what can the schools do to be prepared for a situation like this?
I would say, it's kind of basic. See something, say something. If teachers or the students, they see someone maybe having a hard time, depression, anxiety, or, they see someone who has had a tendency for violence, say something to someone, if it's other students, a teacher, or now there's officers in schools as well, say something to them, so that way they can maybe take preventative measures or just speaking to them and trying to see what's going on before it escalates to any further violence.
Okay. And have you ever had any situation or experience where you had to respond to prevent a potential threat? How did you feel? What did you do? Or just what went through your mind?
Thankfully, I have not had any incidents where I've had to, where I've been dispatched to like a active shooting. We do have our other crimes that occur. It's a lot of adrenaline where we're going. We are running through the scenarios of what could be happening because we never know exactly what is happening at that time. So we run through scenarios through our heads. We, as partners, we speak to each other. Hey, what are we gonna do once we get there? And as we get to the scene, we analyze everything that's going on. We try to first secure everything, make sure that everyone's okay, and then we kind of slow it down and take steps and go from there.
Thank you, Officer Martinez, for the interview. Moving on. However, excessive security measures, such as armed security or overly restricted policies like cameras, metal detectors, they can create a hostile learning environment that may further contribute to a student's stress and aggression. This is why it is important to have a balanced approach that includes security personnel trained to de-escalate the possibilities of this happening, and also have improved communication between law enforcement and school staff has been associated with effective school safety measures. This approach not only aims to maintain a safe learning environment for students, but it also ensures that they feel supported and safe rather than feeling scared knowing that a tragedy can happen at any time. The second question was how frequent were emergency drills? The majority of respondents, which is about 70.14%, said that emergency drills, such as lockdowns and fire drills, are conducted once a year, while 23.8% reported that them happening every 3 months, and a small percentage say they occur rarely or never. Lastly, we asked high school teachers, do you believe stricter gun control laws would make schools safer? A strong majority, 61.9%, strongly agree that stricter gun control laws would make schools safer, while 14.3% somewhat agree, 19% disagree, and 4.8% strongly disagree. This reflects a broad consensus in favor of gun control as a means of improving school safety, though some remain skeptical. To close off this podcast, unfortunately, no action has been taken from my current government to this day. It's still happening, and it has become very normalized, that people consider it part of our culture. Continued research and evaluation is still being made to a better understanding of effective safety practices to prevent the epidemic of school shooting.